The teacher that I remember the most is my third grade teacher, Mrs. Best, and I remember she had this weird fascination with spiders, so everything that we did was like spider related. But I remember I got my first yellow ticket for being like the superstar student of the week, and it was because I was the best at coming up with creative stories, which really just meant I like to fabricate things, but she recognized my creativeness, and it's probably one of the reasons that I'm pursuing a teaching degree now. So thank you, Mrs. Best.
Now, in my pursuit of going to college and being an athlete, I've had several teachers help me get through because I wasn't the star student. These teachers actually took their time and got me through the classes where I was behind to actually go through the clearinghouse, study for my SATs, and the outcome of it was me going to college, which led on to a future with professional sports, which I did do that. So thanks. Appreciate it, guys. I did do something with myself.
My most memorable teacher was Mr. McCabe. He was my marketing teacher in high school. He helped me with everything, not just his class, but all the other subjects. If I needed help in math or language arts, he would just offer to help me anytime I needed it. He just encouraged me to do my best.
At my age, I've had a lot of teachers in my life, and I'm thinking right now about one in particular. He was my senior American history teacher in high school when I was a senior. And he had a great sense of humor, and he said something that I think he meant it as a joke, but I carried it with me pretty much my whole life. And what he said was, if all you want to do is make money, print it.
I'd have to say one of my favorite teachers was Mrs. West. She was my music teacher way back, probably in elementary school. As a matter of fact, is my first little taste of being able to play an instrument. It wasn't much of anything. I think I started with the recorder and then moved up to clarinet later on, but it was basically foot in the door, and I've loved it ever since. It didn't have to do with the books or the studying so much as just being able to create a good sound and have fun with what you were doing.
My favorite teacher would probably be Miss Brown. She was my 8th grade teacher. She did social studies and language, and she was just really nice and made everything fun to learn, because I hated history and social studies before that, and so when she taught it, I just was way more interested in it, and so she just made school feel more fun than it was, and it helped me in my high school career too.
Mr. Richards was my band teacher. He taught me how to play 4 different musical instruments in less than 1 year. Awesome man. I will never forget him. Thank you.
Well, the one teacher that comes back in mind to me was Mr. Chastulier, alias Chastu, when we were in a high school. Actually, even though I don't look like it, I was a problem student. He stand out, and he was believing in me. He is the one who stand out in front of everybody else, saying that I was worth something. And thanks to him, actually, I ended up having my bachelor degree, going to college, and ended up going to America thanks to it, because back in time I didn't realize that just to realize my dream and come over to America to make music, I needed to go to college first. And so I owe him that.
Well, I think one of the most impressive teachers I had in terms of really looking at me and what I needed and how to make me grow and develop was Mr. Fieser, my history teacher as my sophomore year. And he could tell that I had an interest in teaching, and that in fact I really enjoyed history. And he actually asked me to give one of the history lessons. And in doing that, helped me develop some of my skills. And later on, I did become a teacher, and I now get to help make some history, at least here in Washington State. So Mr. Fieser meant a lot to me. I always knew he wanted me to be my best, and he helped me do that.
My favorite teacher. I like physics, so I remember Mr. Bell, physics professor in high school. His version of physics was giving us a water balloon and a big 3-man slingshot, and a ladder or two, and then a calculator and some pieces of paper, and it was our job to figure out how far to pull on the slingshot and at what angle to shoot the water balloon. He actually went to the other end of the football field and stood there. We only got 2 tries, but I only needed 2.